Well, hello everyone. This is Jamie Silver with Herf Jones Yearbooks and Varsity Brands. Welcome to the new year. I hope you had a wonderful winter break and you enjoyed some downtime with friends and family. And welcome to 2019. So to kick off the first episode of the new year, in this episode we're going to cover a couple quick demonstrations of tools that I think you might like within the program. One student-made video all about yearbook sales, and then at the end of this episode, we're going to do something new as we go into the new year. And this one is above and beyond the yearbook itself. This is a project that we've worked on as a company, and it's inspirational topics and things that I think are really well-suited for students. So it might be something you share with the rest of the PTO, PTA, your school administration, something that you might like to show the whole student body. So we'll get to that at the end. But to start, I did want to share this video, and I'll pull it up on screen. It's on YouTube. It's done by a student. It's about a minute long. It is at a high school, but I thought that you still might find it really inspirational, of maybe a video that you could make for your school. So I will be right back. We're going to play this and be right back. What a professional looking video, right, that student made, that really kind of gives the theme out and just gets people excited about buying the yearbook and tells them where to buy it. So again, I just thought you might find that as a helpful reference, something you might be able to make for your school. Now, switching gears, we're going to switch to a couple demonstrations of tools in the program that you have available to you that I think you might find pretty cool. So we're going to switch to the first one, which is photo in text. So this one's a little bit longer, about 3.5 minutes, but I'll play that here and I'll be right back.
In this tutorial, we'll look at another of the cool graphic effects that you can do inside of eDesign, and that's placing photos inside of text. In this example, I have a headline set in a larger font size in sort of a thick, chunky font. And for placing photos in text, it's going to work best if you choose a thicker font set at a larger size so that you have enough of a shape that will allow elements of the photo to be seen through. So I have my text set here. In this example, I have the text set in AHJ Seriffic Bold at 100 points. You may notice if you go to the font size menu that the largest size listed is 72 points, but you can select the value and type in any value up to 127 points. In this example, I'll enter 110 points and hit enter or return on the keyboard. So I have my text set here, and I'm going to go up and select the text frame with the selection tool. Then I'll go over to the object menu and choose Convert to Shapes. When I choose Convert to Shapes, it's going to take the live editable text and change it into the shapes or the forms of the letters. So now I have the paths that make up each of these letters. I'll reposition it slightly on the page. And now it's like an image frame, and I can scale it up or down, and if I hold down the Shift key when I scale it, I can make it larger or smaller while keeping the proportions the same. Now I can go over to my image library and find an image that I'd like to place inside this headline. In this case, I'm going to use this picture of the grass of the football field. It's going to work best when placing photos inside of text if you use a photo that has a texture or a pattern or lots of small elements, like a group of faces at the crowd at the football game, so that you can see individual elements through the different letter forms. So I'm going to use this picture of the grass. I'll click and drag it over and hover over the word Knights, or the form of the word Knights. You'll notice that when I hover over the shape of the letters, I get this blue highlight around the outside. If I'm not actually over one of the letters, you'll see that the blue highlight goes away. The image will only be placed in the letters if you have that blue highlight around the letters. So hover over one of the letters, get the highlight, Then release the mouse button to drop the photo inside the letter forms. Now that I have the image inside, let's add a couple of other things to help it stand out. I'm going to select it, come down here to the bottom, and I'm going to add a stroke weight of about 2 points to this shape. And I'm going to change the color to something a little more vibrant so that it will stand out on the screen. You'll now see that it has this orange 2-point stroke around the outside of the shapes, and that's helping it to stand out a little more. I'm going to select it again and come down to the FX button and choose Drop Shadow to apply a drop shadow to the object to help it have a little bit more separation from the background. So it's a pretty simple process to put a photo inside of text in eDesign. Let's just review it quickly with this other headline element. I'll select it, go to the Object menu, choose Convert to Shapes. I'll reposition it just a bit here. Then I'll find the image that I want to use, drag it over, get the blue highlight, and drop it in. Once the photo's inside the frame, you can still manipulate it just like you would any other image in Image Frame. Double-click to enter Picture Manipulation mode, where you can scale and reposition the image inside the frame.
So not something you do a lot of, but boy, really cool effect if you use it sparingly and just put some more images to use in words. It's pretty cool. Now, speaking of images, the next video I want to share with you is about image editing. So if you're familiar with Photoshop or programs like that that let you do pretty much anything you can imagine to a photograph, what we've done is, because we understand not everyone has Photoshop, and we've built in some of the basic functionalities that people tend to use Photoshop for right into the program on our website. So I'm going to show this kind of introduction to the tools. We can share more with you later if you're interested, but I just want to let you know what's available and what's actually built in for you so you don't have to buy something like Photoshop. So I'm going to play this video and I'll be right back.
eDesign provides a powerful set of built-in image editing tools. In this tutorial, we'll cover an overview of these tools. You can launch an image into the eDesign image editor from the image library or from the library panel in Page Design. In this example, I'm in the Page Design area, and I'll open the Images section of the library panel. When I locate the image that I'd like to edit and hover my mouse cursor over the image, I see a pencil icon in the upper left corner. Clicking this pencil icon will open this image in the image editor. I could also right-click on the image and choose Edit Image. eDesign then generates a temporary version of the image and passes it off to the image editor. The changes that you make in the image editor will not affect the original version of your image. When the image editor opens, you'll see along the left side the various editing options: cutout background, color splash, red eye correction, color filters, and exposure. When I click on one of these options, the related editing tools and controls for that effect appear. Along the top of the interface is the zoom slider, which allows you to zoom in on the image. When you're zoomed in on an image, you can use the pan feature to move the image around within the window. You can click the pan button to the right of the zoom slider and your cursor will appear as a hand. You can then click and drag on the image to move it around within the window. There's also a great shortcut that will make panning even easier. When you're using one of the editing tools and you'd like to reposition the image in the window, you can press and hold the space bar. This will give you the pan tool on the fly, and you can click and drag to reposition the image. When you release the space bar, you're returned to the tool that you were previously using. To the left of the zoom slider are the buttons to undo or redo recent actions. I'll jump ahead to a completed color splash effect. For more information about the color splash effect, see the tutorial listed on screen. When you've completed a particular effect, you have the option to apply changes or discard changes. Applying changes updates the temporary image that you're working on and allows you to switch to another of the effect areas. Choosing to discard changes would take the image back to the way it appeared when you first began applying this effect. When you're ready to exit the image editor, you should use the buttons in the upper right. Save and Return will save the changes made to your image. When you've completed your edits and you're ready to exit the image editor, it's not necessary to click Apply Changes before clicking Save and Return. In fact, clicking both buttons causes a duplicate saving process and could make saving the image take longer. When you're done with an edit, you can just click Save and Return. Cancel and Return would cancel all changes made in the image editor and return you to eDesign. I'll choose Save and Return. Depending on the size of the image and the complexity of the changes, you may see a progress bar like this one as the image is processed. When the process is complete, the edited image will appear in the image library. Back in the image library, you'll notice that the original image now has a purple highlight around it. This is an indication to you that there are edited versions of the image in the library. Let's jump ahead in time to when a few more versions of the image have been created. If I want to see all edited versions of an image, I can right-click and choose Filter All Edited Versions. This reveals the original image and all the versions of that image that have been created. If I wanted to filter the image library for all edited images, I can use the Filter By menu and choose All Edited Images. If I just want to see the edited versions that I have created, I can choose My Edited Images. One last thing. Let's say I use this edited version on a page in my book. The image version that was used on the page would have the normal in use tag. All other versions of the image have this tag, indicating that a version of the image is in use. This is a great additional feature to prevent you from accidentally using a duplicate version of the image elsewhere in your yearbook. And that's the basics of using the eDesign image editor. The additional tutorials listed on screen address the application of some specific effects.
So again, as Mark said there, we've got a lot of other resources that can help you in more detail if you want to learn more about it. But I just want to kind of give you an overview today as a reminder that we have a lot of those basic tools. Again, it doesn't replace Photoshop. Photoshop's an amazing program, but this is a great set of tools that are commonly used, and we put them right in the program, and they follow you around wherever you log in eDesign. So if you have any questions about that, photo and text, any of those topics we covered today, please feel free to let me know. And as a team, we're all here to help you with any of those little pieces that you want. So that wraps it up for today for demonstrations. Now we are going to switch gears to that something new that I mentioned at the beginning for the episode. And this is something that we've created in partnership. Well, I'm going to show you a little preview of it here, and then we're going to jump into the first episode. But I'm going to show you this, and then I'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Kevin Atlas, and I've spoken to hundreds of thousands of students all over the country. I've gained perspective that not many have. I've witnessed schools that students actually like to go to. These schools aren't plagued by bullying and gossip. They're schools that have spirit, they have pride. Is this your school? Because it wasn't mine. For me, high school, it felt like a 4-year prison sentence. For the last several years, I've flown around this country to every single state as a motivational speaker, trying to uplift both faculty and students. I set out to make lasting change and growth, and to my efforts, I achieved it. Helped a lot of people. But to me, it wasn't enough. This is why I've collaborated with Varsity Brands to make this series for you. Believe in You is a 9-episode series where I will take you in the lives of outstanding individuals. A cancer survivor from St. Jude Hospital, Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. The Kohler family from Special Needs and Treats. World famous stunt double and surfer, Noel Tsunami. My homie Brent from Dude Be Nice. Olympian Allison Schmidt, 4-time gold medalist. If you listen to these stories and you apply what you learned, your lives will change.
So this is available now. Like I said, this is available to you at no additional charge. It's something we provide. And as I hope you could see from that kind of preview, it's extremely inspirational, some amazing stories to share that we've partnered with Kevin, and he interviews some people here. And for today, I want to end the episode by sharing the very first episode of this series. It's all available on our website, and I may be, depending on kind of feedback I get here on the podcast, maybe sharing more of them, but they are available to you on our website now. So I'm going to jump down here to the first episode and share that with you today. And that's how we'll close the episode. It's about 8.5 minutes, so I'm going to say goodbye for now, but I hope you enjoyed this. Again, welcome to the new year, and I'm sure we'll talk soon. Have a great day.
I was born without a left hand. Essentially what happened is my umbilical cord wrapped around my neck twice and my arm got stuck in between the umbilical cord and my neck.
Because the cord is wrapped around the neck, it actually can end up being more of a major issue in which the brain suffers injury.
Although I survived, I was born into rough circumstances. My parents divorced when I was 4, like some of your parents. It was tough. I was in a split custody household situation and I didn't have much of a home structure. And to make matters worse, my dad was diagnosed with cancer.
He just first lost the ability to walk, and then he was laying in bed, and then he couldn't talk anymore, but he could hear, and he hallucinated a lot.
And when I was 10, he passed away. I watched him take his last breath in the living room of my house. I held his hand as he died, and it broke me. I was 6'4", going into 7th grade, a giant creature. Shaggy red hair, one arm. I was a sight for sore eyes, and I tried out for the team, and the coach cut me. He told me that basketball is a 2-arm sport and to try something else. I didn't have direction, I didn't believe in myself, but I am a strong believer that it just takes one leader, one mentor, coach, teacher to step up and just change your life, to ignite a spark.
Hey, I got a 6'9" kid, red-haired kid, ball of joy, would love to play basketball. He was gonna play for this other team, but they said he wasn't good enough. So I'm like, 6'9" kid, I'll take him, man. I don't care what his skill level was.
And one day he came up to me in practice and he said, "Kevin, why don't you use that arm when you play?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Why don't you use that arm?" And I was like, "What, dude, I don't have an arm. That's the whole thing, bro. Like, chill." And he's like, "No, man, that thing's a weapon." This was what I hated most about my terrible life. I hid it, I was self-conscious about it. I didn't even like looking in mirrors. I avoided them like the plague. I was so self-conscious about this thing, and this coach, he couldn't change my arm, he couldn't grow it out, but he found a way to allow me to accept it, to embrace it. Mentally, that's all it took.
He's tall and he's lanky, he doesn't look strong. He's got one hand, he looks terrible. And then I go and I block all their shots.
I didn't want to be a product of my circumstance. Now I didn't have to. That's the first step. Every single one of you guys has a nub in your own way. It sounds insane, but you do. You have to learn to accept and embrace yourself. You have to learn to believe in you. If you do, everybody else will fall in line.
A high school basketball player in Pleasanton is getting a lot of attention these days.
Sometimes in life and in sport, there are special individuals who defy the odds.
Amador Valley's Kevin Loud plays on the Dons varsity squad, and he does it all with just one hand.
My senior year, the President of the United States heard about me. He was inspired by my story. He flew out on Air Force One to meet me. But that night,
We really need to win this game, and this is huge. I got a lot of people I know are coming to it. I can't put any pressure on it, and I can't move my foot up or down.
and I broke my leg the same day.
And what's that mean? Is that hairline? Is that what you call it, hairline?
Rooted shaft proximal fibula fracture.
I lost all my scholarship offers, missed the rest of my senior year. I was broken. All I ever cared about was basketball, and it was ruined, and I was at this low peak, but you still have to find how to elevate, pick yourself back up. I ended up having to go to a military academy prep school, 5th year of high school. I didn't want to give up on my dream, my ambition to play basketball. I graduated military school, first in class, valedictorian. I graduated college in 3 years as an honor student, taking 40 credits a year. Stupidest kid in town. By the end of military academy, I became the first Division I basketball player. I'm on a full scholarship, played at Manhattan College in New York City.
We here at Manhattan College and myself would like to present you with that opportunity.
Over to Asia, I played pro basketball. I got to share my story to hundreds of thousands of people out there and inspire and elevate them. You learn to believe in yourself and the world will fall in line. Today, I speak all over the world. I've been to almost every continent but Antarctica. And I get to do this series with you because I have this heart that bleeds for the youth of this country. Because we need to learn to lead. We need to elevate ourselves to be bigger part of something just so much bigger than ourselves. That's how this world changes. It starts with you. If not you, then who? Who's gonna step up? That's what I'm calling. I am Captain Hook and you are my crew. That's what this series is. I'm bringing some of the wisest, successful, most inspirational human beings on this planet into your classrooms for your benefit. These are the answers, the blueprints, anything you want, I'm providing them to you. We're speaking to you as if we're speaking to the high school versions of ourselves. This is knowledge, this is wisdom, this is everything. This is for you. Because we believe in you.
Believe in you!